Hi, this is Amy Boland, and today we're going to talk about decimals. So the first thing we need to know when we're talking about decimals is rounding. Suppose you have the number 512.732. The 7 is in the tenths place. The 3 is in the hundredths place, and the 2 is in the thousandths. Okay. So you may be asked to round numbers to different amounts. So if I asked you to round the number 5.678 to the nearest tenth, so it's going to stop one place after the decimal point. So I need to look at what's behind it. Since it's more than 5, we're going to round up. So if I'm rounding to the nearest tenths, that would be 5.7. If I had the number 3.283 and it said round to the nearest hundredth, well, that's 2 places after the decimal point, so I'll look at what's behind it, and since that is 4 or less, we keep it, so it's going to be 3.28. Now if I had the number, let's say 1.73652 and so on, and it said round to the nearest thousandth, that's 3 places after the decimal point. So I look at what's behind it. Since it's 5 or more, we raise that score. So it's 1.73, and then would round that up to 7. So the same rules apply as if we were rounding with whole numbers. Now, if you are adding numbers that have decimals, you need to line those decimals up. So let's talk about that. If I have the number 2.384 plus 1.2, and it's written out this way, the first thing I would do if I'm doing this by hand is line the decimal points up. So you don't want to move everything to the right hand side. The decimal points need to be lined up. And then you would just add straight down. And this is understood to be zeros out here after it. So it'd just be 4, 8, and then 5, and 3. And you keep your decimal point in the same position. Again, I could have one that is 0.234 plus 1.5. We still want to line those up, so 0.234, and then line the decimal points up, and then just add straight down. Okay, pretty easy. Subtracting follows the same rules as well. Make sure you line everything up. I could have 5.826 minus 3.14. Line it up, 5.826, 3.14, and we're going to subtract. Sometimes you got to borrow here. So our final answer is 2.682. 6. If I have 8.1704 minus 2.93586, same thing. We continue to line those decimals up. Now, this one I'm going to have to add a 0 right here and borrow again. So now we're at that. 10 minus 6 is 4, 13 minus 8 is 5, 9 minus 5 is 4, 6 minus 3 is 3, and borrow here. 11 minus 9 is 2, 7 minus 2 is 5. So there's your final answer. The main thing you need to remember when adding or subtracting decimals by hand is always line your decimal points up.